Welcome back to the workshop, everybody. So glad you could be with me today. If you remember last time, we were planing this old piece of pine, and we talked about how pine can have a lot of gum or pitch, resinous pockets in the wood and the knots, and how that can gum up your tools. Well, after a work session working with gummy woods, or even almost all woods, you get a buildup of dust and pitch on your tools. So what you need to do is you need to clean them. So I've gone through all the planes that we used and my others. This is sort of a daily ritual when I'm doing a lot of work. I will pull all my planes out, I will clean them, I will sharpen them, and I'll put them back together. So with the cambered iron, it's fairly simple to bring them back to a state of sharpness. There's two ways to sharpen the cambered iron. You can come up here and you can find your bevel, raise it just a little, and then while pulling back, you go back and forth, okay? While pulling back, you just go back and forth until you feel that burr. Then you come back and you flatten the back. That's ready to go. For a scrub, there's nothing else needed. Now, the other way is a little more methodical, and some people really like it. So I'll show it to you. You come up here, you find your bevel. You raise slightly. You start on one corner while pulling backwards down the stone, and you create one part of the letter X. Then you come back up here and you do the same thing going the other way. So you're forming an X. And you just repeat that till you get your burr. I'm doing this dry so that you want to get your grit off of there, your metal shavings. So you get your burr, you come back, and you remove the burr, and that scrub plane blade is done. So, what do you do next? Well, before you install any blade back in the plane, you should take some sort of oil. It doesn't matter if it's 3-in-1 oil, camellia oil, jojoba oil. I'm using this ballistol right now. Okay, a little bit on a rag. They're non-drying oils. It's not linseed oil, walnut oil, tung oil, any of those. These are non-drying oils. So you wipe off any dust or grit that's on your tool. That'll help protect it from oxidation till the next time you're ready to use it. And in a wooden plane body, I like to dry, after that, I like to dry the top portion and the back somewhat, because you're going to be putting it back into a wooden bodied tool. So normally you would put it on some sort of a wood surface, so your blade has a stop. You put the blade in, square it up, put the wedge in, press it, check your exposure, and I don't want a lot of exposure because this is going to get stored now, and just tap the wedge lightly just so it doesn't go anywhere. The other thing you can do too while you're at it is to wax or oil the sole of your wooden plane. Since the ballistol has some sort of wax in it, I believe it's like a paraffin, I'll use that. I'll go right across the blade. Any excess oil won't hurt it. Across the front of the plane, the sides. So that entire plane is getting a cleaning. I already removed any pitch that was on the sole of this plane. So that plane's done. Now what do I do with a regular Stanley plane or Bailey plane, Bailey patent plane, the process is the same. We basically take the plane, pop the hood, take the blade assembly out, dust everything off, and remember, you move your chip breaker back, finger tighten. Now you can go to your stone and you can hone it. These are already done, ready to go. Lightly oil all the surfaces, inside, out. Before putting it all the way back together, loosen the screw and just inspect the underside. If you see any oxidation or dust, you clean it off. No need to have tons of oil on there, but a light coating of oil or wax does not hurt anything. You bring your blade up. Oh yeah, by the way, whenever you're cleaning, whether it's once a day, twice a day, once a week, once a month, come in and make sure you take time with oil or solvent or whatever to make sure there's no resin or gum on the chip breaker. You want that so the chips roll off nice and easy. And just set your chip breaker on the iron to where you want it, Use your chip breaker adjusting hammer. Somebody will say something about that. You get it where you want it. Almost used it as a screwdriver. And there you go. So the blade's done. You check your lever cap. Make sure there's clean in the front there too, no dust. Then you check your blade body. If you have to, you get a brush or an air compressor and you clean that out. If you see any oxidation, any rust or anything you want to clean, you can get in there with some Scotch-Brite and you can clean it up. Oil your rag in on all the surfaces. And I'm talking about such a thin coat that you can't even see it. And now you're ready to put it back together. One step before doing that you may want to do is turn it over and check to see if there's anything underneath like pitch or anything, and you take a piece of Scotch-Brite or 4-0 steel wool and just make sure your sole is clean. That way you don't hit your blade when you're putting it all back together. Raise the toe of your plane up, line up your lateral, take your blade set in, make sure it's on the lateral, and there you go. You're back almost in business. Then you just, using the adjuster knob, you advance just enough so you can see the blade. And then you use the lateral to line it up close. Because this is where I do not take any tests. No test cuts. That plane's ready to go back on the shelf. I will take my test cuts to check for alignment and thickness when I'm ready to use the tool. Other than that, it's rinse and repeat for every plane you have, and at the same time, if you want to do your chisels, knives, and everything, I would say if you have 2 to 3 minutes in every plane that you have, in the time it would take you to sip a cup of coffee in the morning before starting your work, you'll have everything clean, protected from rust, and ready to use. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments section below. I really hope this helps somebody understand that tools are not a set it and forget it type thing. You need to maintain them. And the better you maintain them, the longer they will hold their luster and their precision the way you want them. But don't listen to me. Just push your planes hard, put them away wet, and then complain the next time you go to use it that it's not cutting well. That's silly. Of course you're going to do it. So I hope this helped someone. Head out to your shop. Clean and polish your tools. You won't regret it. Walter out.